Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Johnstone. I want to welcome you to this webinar that we're on together today, and I am really excited to be with you to be able to tell you about this phenomenal company, eXp South Africa. So for those of you who don't know me, so there's a number of you who are on the webinar today who are my personal guests, but then there's a few of you who have been invited by others, and I will give you a little introduction to myself in case you don't know me, and then we'll get straight into it. So yeah, Happy New Year to all of you. I do trust it will be a good year for you, no matter where you do find yourself working this year. And the challenges of last year do persist, but there's always good news, isn't there? There's good news that we weren't locked down, that we're still able to work as agents, and I think there are still going to be agents that prosper and do very well this year. And in fact, that's been one of the most heartwarming things for me, is that there have been a number of the agents who are on my Going Virtual program. So as you will learn if you don't know me, I'm a real estate sales trainer, and I've got just under 1,000 agents who are on a mentorship program with me, teaching them how to go virtual, how to use video, how to use social media and bulk email and all that stuff. And a number of the agents have said to me that they have actually had their best 6 months in real estate over the last 6 months. And I don't know what the explanation of that is. Maybe the interest rate had something to do with that. But I just believe that if you still do the right things, you're going to prosper. Anyway, that's not what today is about. Today is about this phenomenal business called eXp. And I'm going to break down the model for you today. But before I do that, I guess let me just tell you a little bit about myself. So I just want to make sure that I've got access to the chat roll here. Sorry, I hadn't seen. Okay, a number of you are just saying good morning. Yep, good morning to all of you guys. So I am 46 years old, married to Danielle. Got married when I was 25. So this year will be our 21st wedding anniversary. We got 3 kids: Francesca, who's just finished matric, Olivia, and Luke, who are all quite close in age, and we live in Cape Town. From 2003, so almost 20 years ago now, to 2009, I built South Africa's largest independent real estate training and coaching company. It was called Providence Coaching Systems. That was together with a guy called Brian Buffini from the States. I worked my tail off during those years, and it seemed like I was always on an aeroplane or in a hotel room or in a hired car as I traveled around the country, but I was grateful for the success that we did achieve. We coached hundreds of agents one-on-one, and we had many thousands of agents come through our seminars around the country. And I still, in fact, meet agents today who tell me that their lives and their businesses changed because of the system that I taught them those many years ago. So my speciality has always been lead generation. I think that's the most important thing you do in your business, specifically how to work by referral. And that still is really the heart of what I teach. But in 2009, I then got an opportunity to launch and to take over the leadership of a campaign, a global campaign against corruption. It was called Unashamedly Ethical, and during my tenure there as the head of that campaign, I was with Unashamedly Ethical for 3 years. I had a bit of a fairy tale experience. I traveled the world. I spoke in stadiums. I met a lot of famous people. It just was like a surreal experience. And then at the end of my tenure at Unashamedly Ethical, I began studying a master's degree, which I did for 5 years. And eventually, at the end of getting my master's degree, I had to kind of get back to the reality and the grindstone of business. So I reopened my real estate training company. But this time, so this was about 2016 or so, I decided that I wanted to build an online learning business. And again, I'm very grateful for the success that the business has had, but more so for the wonderful relationships that I have rekindled with some and built anew with others with my relationships with estate agents around the country, and for the many stories of how my training, my techniques have been a blessing to people's businesses. That really has been a blessing to me. And in fact, there are many of these agents who have become friends and who have decided to join me on this brand new journey that we're all taking together with eXp South Africa. And of course, that's what I'm here to tell you about today. So this sort of raises a question. Why, if I have a profitable business already, which I do have, why would I be looking for another opportunity? Because this may apply to your situation as well. And the simple answer to the question is that while my training business has been good, it has also always been and still continues to be uncertain. It is very sensitive to the cycles of the property market. And so while the income might be good today, that income could disappear overnight by another economic downturn like we experienced in 2008. And maybe it is that you can relate to that. You know, maybe your real estate career has also had this kind of hamster wheel effect to it, where you're just running as fast as you can, doing as much as you can, but you're not really building long-term wealth and freedom and security for yourself and your family. You know, do you relate to that? Because I know a lot of estate agents do relate to that. You're kind of working, and even if you have a really good month or a really good year, it's still not getting you off the hamster wheel. You know, if you keep on the track that you're on, where will you be in 5 years' time? You know, let's say you wanted to retire in 5 years or just be able to do what you want to do. Are you on track for that? And maybe it is that, like me, you would be willing to admit that probably you're not on track for that. So did you know that if you wanted to retire in 5 years' time and just be financially free for the rest of your life, you would probably need to invest in 5 years' time about 30 million rand. Okay. Now, if you work out, let's say you can invest that at sort of 9% growth per year, and you want to keep up with inflation, which is between 4 and 5%, and the rest you want to draw out to live on, and let's say you want to live on like $1 million or 1.5 million rand a year. That's what you want to draw out. So you're going to need 30 million rand invested in 5 years' time and have no debt. So, you know, are you on track for that? To have 30 million rand invested in 5 years' time so that you can be free. Now, it is this concept of freedom, of building a business and working as an agent, doing exactly what you're doing now, and yet having a vehicle that allows you at the same time, by doing what you're already doing, to build long-term wealth and freedom. That is what got my attention with eXp, because it is exactly that they offer. Okay, so this was the dilemma that I was facing, this uncertain, rusty hamster wheel. And then in about a year ago, February 2020, I got a call from a gentleman named Bill Campbell from Canada. I didn't know Bill at the time. He was an ex-client of mine actually in South Africa. His company that he owned, they used me for training. And he asked me if I would take a look at a new real estate company that would be launching into South Africa later in the year. At the time, I had never heard of eXp. And as it turns out, as I have now found out, they are a US-based real estate company. They were about 10 years old at the time, but because I am relatively well known in the real estate industry in South Africa, through the years, I have been approached a lot by people who want me to promote their thing, their business, their piece of software, their multi-listing service, all the stuff that people want me to promote. And normally I don't get involved. I just politely decline and get on with my day. But in this case, something that I heard about eXp intrigued me. It kind of got my attention, something about its technology and how that enables this company to compensate its agents completely differently. What I heard when I first heard about eXp told me enough that I knew this was something completely different. This was an apple in an industry of oranges. This was a complete market disruptor. And so I started doing some more homework into this company. And the more I found out about eXp, the more I was astonished by what I heard. In fact, I couldn't believe that I'd never heard of these guys. As I've learned now, they are the fastest growing real estate company in history, in the history of the industry. Nothing has ever come close to what these guys have achieved. They have smashed every record on growth set originally by Remax in the States and then by Keller Williams internationally. And particularly over the last 5 or 6 years, eXp have experienced unprecedented, phenomenal growth. About 6 years ago, they had around 500 agents. That number now, 6 years, now 6 years is not a long time when you build a business. How old is your company? They went from 500 agents in the last 6 or so years, and the latest count now is over 40,000 agents. And it's like they've just hit this tipping point. They are now expanding globally. So the first countries to open in 2019 outside of the US were Canada, the UK, and Australia, and going strong in those nations today. And then at the end of last year, so this is like a matter of weeks old now, they launched 5 new countries. They opened South Africa, so we're now up and running. India, Mexico, Portugal, and France. And I see now, I saw the press release, eXp have just announced the next tranche of countries. I think there's 5 more they're opening in this quarter, which includes Puerto Rico, because a lot of the top eXp agents actually have moved to Puerto Rico for tax purposes, and I think they've wanted it opened there. Brazil, Hong Kong, and maybe somebody else who knows can name the other 2. I can't remember what the other 2 were. So these guys are taking over the world. And, you know, the question is why? What is it that this company, eXp, are doing differently? Why are they growing so fast? And the reason is because they own a piece of technology that enables them to be far more profitable than any other real estate business, which then in turn enables them to compensate their agents in a far more lucrative way, and in fact, enable their agents to become owners of the company. This is an agent-owned business. You get shares in the company, and the company is listed on the NASDAQ stock exchange. Go and look them up, EXPI. And in fact, about a month ago, I wanted to buy some shares in EXPI because I believe that it's a great business. And I mean, it's on a new high today. So at that point, this was about a month ago, the shares were $40. And I see the share price today is $75, 40 to 75 in a month. Their share price on the NASDAQ is going through the roof. Why? What is this company doing? This is what got my attention. When I have previously never really wanted to be involved in real estate proper or get involved in a real estate company, I was a trainer. It was a great business. When I saw these guys, man, I realized there is huge opportunity for those of us who get in on the ground floor in South Africa. And that's one of the magic things that we are presented with here. We can get in on the ground floor of an opportunity in South Africa, because we've only just launched here, and yet the business itself is proven, 11 years old, and all of the success that I've been talking about. So it's a wonderful combination. So eXp's technology and their model are completely changing the paradigm of how real estate companies work. But it's not only that. I have since that time had the chance to get to know some of their most senior leaders, agents with huge eXp businesses that we're personally in business with in our group. And I can confidently say that I am pleased to be in business with them. In fact, this afternoon at 4 o'clock, I've got a private meeting just with my group, the group of agents around the country that have joined my eXp business. And one of the senior leaders from the States is joining us. Her name is Sheila Fejeran, an amazing lady. And it's just great to be in business with good people whose worldview I share, but also people who are incredibly successful in business. So it's a delight. This business is a delight. I'm having so much fun building it. The agents that have joined me already, we're having fun. We're building a team. We're building friendships. It's an incredible journey. And today is about inviting you to come and join us, and obviously giving you the information to be able to make that decision. Okay, so what is special about the business? Well, eXp was founded in 2009 by a tech genius. His name is Glenn Sanford. He's still the chairman of the company. He had built a $60 million real estate business himself. He was in real estate. I think he was with Keller Williams at the time, but he had built his business completely differently. He's a tech guy, so he had built his business completely online. He did everything online. Now, remember, this was 2009, 1 year after the first iPhone had launched. There was no such thing as Zoom. There was no such thing as webinars, anything like that. But Glenn Sanford, this visionary, he believed that the traditional model of real estate, where it's bricks and mortar, you've got to have an office, you've got to have plush offices with staff and visibility and all of that. He believed that the bricks and mortar model of real estate was unnecessary and that it was going to fade away. He believed quite ahead of his time that a multi-office, even national real estate company could have all of its offices and administrative staff in the cloud. And he believed that the massive cost saving that would represent for companies should be passed back to the agents themselves. If you can do away with the bricks and mortar of real estate, that will save hundreds of millions of rands in the SA real estate economy. And he believed that money in a company should be passed back to the agents. So his contention is that the company itself should be owned by the agents. They should be shareholders in the company, and they should be compensated not just for the transactions that they're doing as agents. So you continue to work as an agent and you make money as an estate agent with a better commission split than you're probably getting now, but you also get compensated for helping build the company. So if you introduce eXp to another agent and they join, you will get compensated for that, just like a principal gets compensated for recruiting agents into their office. Okay, so based on your level of contribution, you get compensated. And, most of us are only really starting to notice, but particularly in South Africa, this massive trend towards online. If you look at Amazon, for example, they started selling books. Back in the day when I was studying my master's degree, I bought all my books off Amazon. And it was great, it was just delivered to my door within a couple of weeks, and it was I could get stuff that I couldn't get access to in South Africa. But if you go onto Amazon's website today, you will see that you can buy absolutely anything under the sun. In fact, I recently just bought a chest and a back plate. I'm a downhill mountain biker, and there's a back plate that Fox Racing make. You can't get it in South Africa. I ordered it off Amazon, and it was actually delivered via Lithuania. This company in Lithuania sell on Amazon. I ordered it, and within a couple of weeks, I received this piece of equipment. Incredible. I mean, that is amazing. And in the last 12 months, we've seen companies like Takealot and other online retailers in South Africa experience over 100% growth. That's the figures that Takealot announced. I mean, that is enormous in 1 year. And every industry is seeing this disruptive change take place. I mean, just think of your local video store. I can still remember when my kids were young, we used to go down to Mr. Video in Plumstead. And, it was always like a bit of an outing. The kids would jump in the car, we'd go down, we'd wander through, and you'd try to look at the videos, and then you're just keeping your eyes out because some kid is liable to wander off outside the door. You remember that stresses parents. And you check whether your video was in, they'd be piled up under the little box, and you'd grab one of them and go and get your video. Netflix or live streaming services like mainly Netflix have killed the DVD industry. This was a multi-million rand industry in South Africa, and it is dead today. We are living in a world where the cloud is disrupting every industry. And the same thing has happened in the taxi industry, which has been obliterated by Uber and in the States, Lyft. Tony Robbins, and in the video that I'll show you today by Brent Gove, he mentions this example by Tony Robbins. But Tony Robbins has mentioned in his seminars this contrast between Hilton hotels and Airbnb. So Hilton is a 100-year-old company valued at $18 billion US. Okay, that's Hilton, 100 years old, 18 billion. Airbnb come on the scene within 10 years. They are now valued at not 18, at $31 billion. They're 10 years old, but that's not the thing I want you to think about. Here's the kicker. Hilton hotels, 100 years old, own properties all over the world. Airbnb, they are worth double what Hilton is, and they don't own one property. Think about that. These are cloud-based businesses which have not just competed with other companies in their industry, they are completely redefining how an industry works. That is what Glenn Sanford has done with eXp. They are redefining real estate, and it is working. So this guy, he creates the first cloud-based real estate company. eXp now have over 600 full-time employees working in an avatar-based world. Okay, it's going to sound really weird. It's going to sound like a video game. They've got an avatar world called eXp World, where 600 full-time staff employees work. When you're a member of eXp, you get access to eXp World. You create an avatar for yourself, and you wander around the campus. You can go into meeting rooms. You can go and get tech support. You can go and get transaction support from another human being, but your avatar speaking to their avatar. It is an incredible business that has launched 5 and 5 and 3, 13 companies. Well, let's say 10 of them internationally. They've launched 10 companies internationally without being able to travel. I mean, that is phenomenal. And that's what this piece of technology is enabling them to do. We do not need offices. Everything happens in this cloud-based world. So it's a new paradigm. And today the company, as I said, is listed on the NASDAQ Stock Exchange. So I want to show you a couple of slides, but before I do that, I'm going to show you a video by a guy called Brent Gove. Now I need to explain to you. Okay, sorry, there's a couple of points I did want to make. First one, be kind to yourself. We'll be busy for about another 60 minutes, a little bit less. I'll be done by 11:15. Be kind to yourself for the next hour, please. I beg of you. You are going to be tempted to check Facebook, to answer phone calls, to send WhatsApps. Please do what I've done. Just put your phone on flight mode. Don't check your email. Close down your email. Why do I say that? Because this opportunity is so big. This is going to change the lives of some people on this webinar today. And it might be you. This might change your financial future. It is worth just focusing for the next 60 minutes. So I'm going to play you a video by a guy called Brent Gove now as he explains the model of eXp. And I'm going to use Brent's video for a reason, which I'll tell you in a second. Just focus during the video. Okay? He's American. Expect an American accent. It's okay. It's fine. Just give him your attention. So that's my first exhortation to you. Second one is do some research afterwards. If this is as good as we say it is, if you do enough research, you will come to the same conclusion. Don't be afraid to do research. Now, of course, like anything, if you go online and you just Google something or you go onto YouTube, you're going to find good and bad. That's normal. You'll find good and bad about anything. If you go and Google the dangers of vitamin C, you're going to find all sorts of conspiracy theories that vitamin C is bad for you. Just expect it. To help you do some focused research, here's what's going to happen. At the end of today's webinar, if you're attending this webinar for the first time and you put your email address in correctly, the system will trigger an email to you at about 11:15 with a bunch of resources in it. I think there's 5 of them that I've put in the email for you. One of them is a video by a guy called Gene Frederick. Just click the link in the email and go and watch the Gene Frederick presentation. Gene, I'll tell you more about Gene actually later today, because I'll show you a picture of him. It's worth going to watch that video. It's one of the things that I did when I was doing my homework, which is why I've copied it and I'm going to give it to you guys as well. I found it incredibly helpful. There's a few other resources I've put in there, some explanation of the model. There's the official slide presentation for eXp South Africa with a bunch of stuff about the company. So there's a few resources. Go and do your homework and then get together with the person who invited you today once you've had a chance to do a little bit of that homework. Don't leave that too long. I would suggest you meet within the next 3-4 days while it's still fresh in your mind. And then lastly, base your decision about whether you want to join us on the first 3 pillars of eXp. Now, you're going to see in Brent's presentation, and then I will repeat it after we get Brent off. I will climb back on, and I will reiterate these 4 pillars. The first 3 is what I want you to make your decision on. If you agree that the first 3 pillars are compelling and exciting as an estate agent, then the 4th pillar becomes a no-brainer. That's like a bonus. Okay, that point will make more sense to you when we get to the end of you'll see by the end of today why I say this, okay? So just hang in there with me. Okay, about Brent Gove, I'm going to play this Brent Gove video to you now, where he breaks down the model of eXp, the 4 pillars of benefit. So obviously you're still sitting there wondering, okay, well, what is it? What does this company do? How does their compensation work? That's what Brent is going to explain to us. Why Brent? Well, Brent Gove he won't say this in the video, but I'll tell you this from my relationship with him. I know this. He was the top selling on unit count Remax agent in America. He's got a $100 million real estate agency that he runs within eXp. But he has also, over the last 5 years or so, built one of the largest eXp networks or businesses in the world. He's got over 10,000 agents in his real estate business, in his eXp network. So he is very successful in real estate. He's very successful in building his eXp business. And so really there is no one else on the planet who is better positioned to explain the benefits and the model of eXp than Brent. Okay? Now, I'm going to jump on after Brent, and there's just one correction I'm going to need to make to this video, because subsequent to when he recorded this, the revenue share numbers have changed a little bit. That'll make sense when you've seen it. And I'll just correct what those numbers are. It's not a big deal, but I'll just give you the correct numbers after his video. And then I'll wrap it up with a few closing thoughts. And then the next step will be for you to do your research and get back together with the person that invited you. Okay, so here we go. Brent Gove on the model of eXp explained.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brent Gove, and of course, I'm here to talk to you about eXp South Africa. Everyone's so excited, and we are thrilled to have you with us today. Now, before I get going on the model on eXp and what's happening with the fastest growing real estate model the world has ever seen, I want to talk to you a little bit about my background. I promise to be super fast. I've been in real estate for 24 years. My first 12 years were at Remax. Then I spent 8 years at Keller Williams. And honestly, I loved both companies. Had a very positive experience. And then 4 years ago, got a friend of mine who asked me to take a look at this new model for real estate, eXp Realty. Back then, it was a small company with 1,200 agents. Today, we're a $4 billion company, shattering all the records of our predecessors, Remax and Keller Williams, cutting their growth rates in half. So what is it everyone's so excited about? Well, let's get started. Welcome to eXp South Africa. Now, eXp was founded by a Canadian, Glenn Sanford. Everyone loves Canadians, and Glenn is one of those special people. He created a company that nobody else created. He was like an Elon Musk, a Richard Branson, a Steve Jobs. Every once in a while, that kind of a special human being comes along and can just not only conceptualize an idea, but execute on that idea. And of course, Glenn did, and enter eXp. Now, what he did is he came up with a cloud-based brokerage, and we're launching it here in South Africa after great success in many other markets worldwide. Today, of course, we're a $4 billion company. So what is eXp all about? Well, of course, we're about selling real estate. And we have our main broker for the country of South Africa, Mr. Andrew Thompson. Amazing. Our regional finance manager, Mark Luker. He's an amazing guy as well. And a bunch of wonderful support folks helping you launch here in South Africa. Now, I won't kid you, we're pioneering at this time. You're part of the beginning, but there are great rewards for people who are first to market. In fact, let's talk about that. Netflix was first to market, and they dislodged a $5 billion, 800-pound gorilla called Blockbuster. We all went to Blockbuster. I'm sure you did too. And now we just point and click, get what we want through Netflix. Look at Amazon. There was a period where it's like, oh, they'll never make it. They're not sustainable. Now they're the largest employer in the world. The most successful company the world has ever seen. Even Tony, and this is what eXp is in this cloud-based space. And then we got eXp going up against traditional brokerages. But even Tony Robbins noticed, and there's Tony right there, that the Hilton Corporation, having been around for over 100 years and creating an $18 billion valuation, here comes Airbnb. In fact, I love the name Airbnb. It's been around for only 10 years, valued at $31 billion. And they don't even own a building. It's incredible. And so what is eXp? What is this cloud campus environment? It's like any university. It's like any college campus. It's a place that houses hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of eXp staff, technology departments, accounting, brokerage operations, marketing, everything you need for a real estate company, but it's in the cloud. And the agents don't have to pay desk fees. You can work from anywhere. And we choose to work with Regus. The whole office hub, open space, being collaborative is the rage worldwide. Now next, what eXp is doing is we're a tech company. We're bringing tech tools that are amazing, cutting edge. One of our tech tools, a CRM, a cutting edge contact relationship manager, a retention tool to help you keep track of your clients, to do prospecting and lead tracking and template brochures and emails and calendars and tasks, and it's state of the art. You're going to love it. Can't wait to show that more to you. It's one of the things we bring. Now, the other thing eXp is huge on is learning. We are a learning-based company. We believe in being a student of life. You want to make it big in real estate? One of the reasons I became very successful, one of the top agents at Remax and Keller Williams, because I'm learning-based. I'm a student. I'm always asking questions. And we believe so strongly that we created eXp University. And in the university, we have cloud classes. We have anywhere from at least 20 live hours a week, sometimes 30, 40 live hours a week of content. You literally can raise your hand, interrupt the instructor and say, hey, I have a question. Now he or she may say, hey, we're going to hold all questions to the end of class today, but it is truly a university with over 20 live, not recorded, the live hours. You can stick around after class, ask the questions to the instructor about how do I get more listings? How do I get more buyers? How do I get more buyers into contract? How do I do social media marketing? How do I do contracts? I have questions about disclosure. Whatever it is, we have it all there in the cloud. It's in the cloud and it's live in person. Here's an example of one we recently did. We had about 500 people in the room. This particular event, it was all about lead generation and using technology to capture buyer and seller leads. Here's another one we did. If you look to the left, there's a panel up there of top superstars from Remax and Keller Williams and Coldwell Banker and Independence. All those people sell hundreds of homes a year each. They all just joined eXp Realty. So we put them up on a panel and said, why? And what do you see the value is in this company? Now, a little bit about eXp World Holdings. Essentially, our eXp World Holdings owns mortgage companies, title companies, real estate companies, home warranty companies, on all the ancillary services. So that they give out what we call equity opportunities. In other words, you get to own a piece of the company you work at. You got to understand that's a big deal. I worked at RE/MAX for 12 years and had nothing to show for it. Most of the agents walk out there with no equity. It's like a buyer. We say, please buy a home. Get some equity for yourself, some self-respect. And then the people who rent a home for 20 years were like, shake our heads. Yet I did that. I spent 20 years, 12 years at RE/MAX, 8 years at Keller Williams, and I had no equity. So at eXp, we're going to give you what we call equity awards. When you close your first home and it records, you're going to get an equity award, stock award. When you cap at eXp, and we'll go over the cap a little bit, you're going to get more stock in our company. When you refer an agent to eXp, you enroll an agent, you tell them how much you like it, and they join, you get more stock. In fact, the more people you tell about eXp, the more stock and equity you get. I spent 20 years at RE/MAX and Keller Williams, referred hundreds of people to both companies, and didn't have a whole lot to show for it. So eXp, they monetize that. They think that's valuable. Finally, you have an agent equity program where you could take 5% of your commission. Now, this is optional. You don't have to do it. But 5% of your commission, and you could purchase our stock at a 10% discount. Now, I started doing this 4 years ago, and the stock was $2.90 a share. Today, it was trading at $58 a share. Back then, the company wasn't even worth $100 million. Today, it's worth over $4 billion market cap. They called me crazy. Now, they call me for advice. And so I tell you what, it's scary when you do something new and this and that, but let me tell you what, eXp makes sense by the numbers. So let's get into some more numbers. We have what we call an Icon Award, and this is where our cap at eXp is 150,000 Rand. And so once you pay in 150,000 Rand to eXp, you go to a 100% split. The split is 75-25, just like everybody else. But once you pay in 150,000 Rand, we move you to a 100% split. Pretty cool. And check this out. When you cap and you earn 5 million Rand, which in a lot of areas means you're selling approximately 33 homes a year if you do the math. Now, if you're in an outlying area where home prices are low, you'll have to sell more. If you're in a very high-end area, it may be less. But if you have an annual gross commission income of 5 million Rand and you cap it, of course you're going to cap, you're going to actually earn your cap back in the form of stock. We give you 150,000 Rand worth of stock. Pretty cool. So what did it really cost you to be eXp? Not much. It's pretty cool. Now, the next thing is we do revenue sharing. And this is what sets our company apart. Now, for years, I had friends working at Century 21, other friends working at Better Homes, Sotheby's, Christie's, Coldwell Banker, RE/MAX, and people would refer people and they wouldn't earn anything, and all the revenue would go to those international multi-billion-dollar real estate corporations, and they would keep all the money. Well, at eXp South Africa, if you look at the scale here, tier 1 at the top, if you refer one person, the dollar amounts in the middle there, that middle dollar amounts, if you add up those amounts, they add up to 150,000 Rand. So what our founder did, Glenn Sanford, is he broke them up into bite-sized rewards. You refer one person, you get 26,250 Rand. It's pretty cool. And someone asked me, or am I limited to that? I go, no, you can refer 10. And if that person was a capping agent and they paid in 150,000 Rand to the company, that's why it says up to, then you will receive 26,250. What happens if they only do half a cap, like 75,000 Rand? Then you get half of 26,250. What if they do a quarter cap, like a quarter of 150,000 Rand? Then you get a quarter of the reward, 26,250. The way it works is every month there's a closing. On the following month, the 22nd, eXp pays out what we call revenue share. eXp South Africa. It's very exciting. So now everyone they tell, that's what's called tier 2. And anyone they tell, you get 30,000 Rand. Now, the way you qualify is in the right-hand column. You must refer 5 agents who sell at least 1 home every 6 months in South Africa, 5 agents who sell 2 homes a year, 1 home every 6 months. Kind of a low standard, but it's a standard. So if you refer 5 agents who sell at least 1 home every 6 months, then it'll unlock tier 2. If you refer 10 people to eXp South Africa, it'll unlock tier 3. 15, 20, 25. It grows in increments of 5 until you get to tier 6. That unlocks tier after tier after tier. Then there's a jump of 15 to 40 to unlock tier 7. But tier 7 pays 37,500 Rand per agent on that tier, unlimited, as it is on every tier. Pretty awesome. So let me kind of show you how this works. Here we go. Let me give you a 5-year example or a 5-year possibility. By the way, I did what you're going to see in 6 months. Doesn't have to take 5 years, but I'm going to be conservative. It says it takes you 5 years. So if you look at the example here, let's say that you tell 10 agents this year. And remember, you're getting 26,200. Look at the top of the scale there. Tier 1 at the top, 26,250 Rand. So if you tell 10 people, and you multiply that times 26,250 Rand, you get 262,500 in Rand every year. And if those 10 people stay with eXp South Africa next year, you get it again. And if they stay a third and a fourth and a fifth year, you get it a third and a fourth and a fifth year. This is like you selling homes 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and you're still getting paid today. Now, we all know that's not going to work. You're paid to produce escrows. You put buyers in escrow. You put sellers in escrow. You get paid. It's over. You have to continue to rinse, wash, and repeat. You have to continue the process. Not here, because you now own a company with eXp South Africa. So if you tell 10, you're getting 26,250 Rand per person a year if they're a capping agent. So make sure that they're an agent who sells real estate. Obviously, if you started a company and you tell 10 people who don't sell it all, you would get nothing, and you'll also get nothing in eXp. You need agents who sell real estate. Again, capping agents are ideal, but it can be less. Now, let's say you help those 10 agents tell 10, and in the next 5 years. So you tell 10 this year, then they each tell 2 people a year for 5 years. 2 times 5 is 10. So if they all did that, you'd have 10 agents who told 10. That would be 100 agents on tier 2. Now, again, I told 10 in the first 2 weeks, and they all told 10 within 6 months. So I did this 5-year example in 6 months. It does not have to take 5 years. But what's wrong if it took 5 years? Because look at this. If you have 100 people on tier 2 who are cappers, how much do you get per person? 30,000 Rand a year per person. So when you multiply that times 100, that's 3 million Rand a year, plus your 262,500 Rand for the people you personally told. That's a total of 3,262,500 a year, and you get it each year as long as those people stay with the company. Well, guess what? The next year, mine quadrupled, almost grew 5 times. So that number grew accordingly. Now, this is just with you telling 10 agents. What if you told 20? What if you told 30? What if you told 40? What if you told 80? If you and I were to start a real estate company together, the first thing we would do is recruit agents. And if we had 4 or 5 agents, we'd be a little boutique company. And then 2 years later, we have 40 or 50 agents, we're a bigger boutique company. Maybe 2, 3, 4 years after that, we have 3, 4, 500 agents. We're no longer a boutique company. We're a company to be dealt with in, say, Johannesburg. You got 500 agents, you've kind of arrived. This is all that is. We're attracting agents to our company that are learning-based, want to give back, and I'll talk about that, want to have a seat at the table of ownership. This is an agent-owned company, so to speak, through the stock. The more you sell, the more agents you refer, the more sales metrics you hit, the more stock you are constantly awarded to our company. If that sort of thing appeals to you, owning a piece of the company you work at, then welcome to eXp. Now, what I want to show you is our expansion. We're already in the United States, we're in Canada, we're in Australia and the UK. This year, like today as I'm making this, we are opening South Africa, like today. Pretty exciting. And then we're also opening France and India, and we're opening Mexico and Portugal. Pretty exciting stuff. And you're just right there wherever you are in South Africa. But as you tell people in other parts of South Africa, they'll have friends in Canada. They'll have friends possibly in Portugal or France or India, Australia, the UK, and your business will grow out of South Africa, and you will be paid revenue share on home sales throughout the UK. I am throughout Australia. I am throughout South Africa. You get the idea. Now, we run the whole world. It's a cloud campus through Verbella. Verbella is one of the most successful companies online. Look them up. They're a Cinderella success company. When COVID-19 hit, eXp didn't blink. Like I said, they call you crazy, and then they call you for advice. Well, we have a world that housed hundreds and hundreds of employees, and we didn't pay any commercial leases. We didn't have to heat and cool it. We didn't have to insure it. No one's going to trip. There's no trip hazard in a virtual world. We didn't have to add coffee, janitorial. We didn't have to do TIs, tenant improvements. We didn't have to buy furniture. We didn't have to sign copier leases or computer leases or phone system leases. Need I go on? Staff it with employees. This is a beautiful world, and the overhead is very low. That's why we could share revenues. Is it working? We went from zero to a $4 billion market cap in 10 years. It's working, and you get to be a part of it. Super excited. We also have Facebook groups that called Workplace in Facebook, and you could post new listings. Buyers need a property here, there. Super collaborative. You will absolutely love it. This is proved to be a great success. And everyone's like, well, what kind of marketing does eXp have? The same kind of marketing your current company has. Beautiful brochures for your listings, wonderful business cards and digital flyers, as you could see. Just great stuff. You're going to love it. Bottom line, join the company everyone's talking about, the Amazon of real estate. We have arrived. That's what we're being called, you know? So what kind of growth? Well, it was 1,300 agents or 1,288 agents about 4 years ago. Today, it is over 36,000 agents. It is exciting what's happening. Now, we got to 36,000 agents without missing a beat, and we've hit $4 billion, and we're highly profit, what's called net profitability. Wall Street, you know, the different stock markets worldwide love us. Wait till we hit 100,000 in the next year and a half, 2-3 years. When we have 100,000 agents, economy scales kick in even more. Profitability goes through the roof. And then the stock, well, it'll do what you might expect it to do. I'm not going to say what it's going to do, but I've just watched it grow from $2.90 a share to $8 a share. People are like, do you think it'll ever reach 20? Today we're trading at $58 a share. And you go, do you think it'll ever reach? I think it's going to be pretty awesome, and I'm so excited to be a part of this company. Almost every other day I get a text from somebody saying, I just became a millionaire through the EXPI stock. Not unusual at all, but the company's been around for 10 years, not 10 weeks or 10 months. Now, it's brand new to South Africa, and again, being first to market is a big deal. Uber was first to market. They were uber successful. Travelocity and the online, your travel agents are gone. They've been replaced by online. You buy your airfare online, your hotels, your rental cars. Being first to market, Facebook, Google, Apple, this is a big deal. And now you get to be a part of this because it's in real estate. Now, here's our eXp South Africa model explained. So the bottom line is it's 800 Rand to join one time. It's a one-time fee, 800 Rand to become a part of our company. Then the monthly fees are 800 Rand every month, okay? It's not free to work here. We have expenses, but it's very reasonable, very affordable. Our split is a 75-25 split, just like every top-notch superstar company throughout South Africa. Again, the cap is 150,000 Rand, and very reasonable cap. And then once you cap, you go to a 100% split. So it's 75-25 to you cap at 150,000 Rand paid in, and then you go to 100%. So if you do that in 6 months, you're at 100% split for the last 6 months of the year, and it resets every year. We did it, James, we did it our first month, 6 weeks, and they were at 100% for the rest of the year. Some of you do it very quick. Some of you, it may take you 9 months to cap, but you'll enjoy 3 months at 100%. Everything you close, you keep it all. That's a pretty good deal. We do have a 4% international fee that applies. We take 0.5% of that and we give back to our community here in South Africa for development, for schools, technology for children, sports, and getting involved in the community. We call that our social responsibility, to not just enrich ourselves and do well and prosper and do well in business, but to care about the community we live in. And so that's a really cool thing that eXp does with that 4% international fee. Finally, we have partners, we have third-party participation. Just to name a few, how about ENS Africa? How about PKF Octagon? How about Deloitte, Aon, Standard Bank? I won't read the whole list, but we have all the right partners, and we are super excited about the promise of what the future holds. Really cool. By the way, here's our founder, Glenn Sanford. He's on the stock exchange the day eXp joined the NASDAQ with Cisco, Apple, Intel, PepsiCo, joined the big boards. This was the day. There's our board of directors. And here he is hitting the closing button, shutting down the world financial markets worldwide. It's an honor they give to companies that join the NASDAQ. We're one of the hottest stocks on the NASDAQ today. Very exciting. So as I wrap up today, it's our final slide. I just want to tell you this. eXp South Africa is making history. I mean, you get to be a part of this. It's a big deal. I am so glad that 4 years ago, I had the courage to go, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot. I left Keller Williams, a well-known factor, and joined eXp because I wanted to own a piece of the company I worked at. Today, I've seen it change hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lives of my friends and colleagues in a positive way I can't even tell you. It's just been so powerful. So really encourage you to join, to be a part, to join this movement, to be a part of a company that is agent-owned, agent-centric. Everyone says they're agent-centric, but how many of them do the agents actually own a piece of the company they work through the stock? So what I want you to do is to go to expsouthafrica.co.za/join, and I want you to apply. You're just applying. It will not move you to eXp, but they'll give you an independent contractors agreement, and it starts the process. But apply and get approved to join, and then when you're ready to join, you could join. But get this part out of the way. It's a part of your due diligence. Also, I want you to do a beta test. I want you to take what you just saw. I want you to share it with your best friend in real estate, 1 or 2 or 3 of them. As a Keller Williams agent, I did 8 of them. I called it the Save Me beta test. I had 8 people watch what you just saw, version very close to that. And guess what? All of them sold franchises, quit full-time jobs as regional managers for Remax, general managers for Berkshire Hathaway, sold multiple franchises, big star agents, every single one of them, 8 for 8, joined me at eXp because I asked them to look at the model, what you just saw, and say, what am I missing? Because who wouldn't want to own your own company? Who wouldn't want stock awards? Who wouldn't want a competitive cap and 100% split? Who wouldn't want all the wonderful benefits that eXp offers? The revenue sharing is crazy today. So take the time, share this with a few people, do what's called a beta test. Go, I want to know what you think. Would you look at the model? It's a new model for real estate. What do you think? And see what they say. I'm so glad I did it, and I would encourage you to do the same. Have a great day, everyone. I look forward to meeting you in one of our next South African meetings for eXp. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Okay, excellent. So a few slides from me, and then we will wrap up. Brent did show you this in the video. This is the eXp South Africa team, and we're in constant touch with them. They put on events, obviously, as eXp South Africa, but we also have direct access to Andrew, who's very responsive and on an exciting journey as they lead eXp in South Africa. So if you join us, these are the people that you'll get to know and work closely with. Okay, so the fees. I just want to make sure you understand this. When you join eXp as an agent, you will move from whatever company or agency you're with. You will move your FFC across to eXp. You will pay an 800 Rand joining fee. And then there is an 800 Rand per month fee to be a member of eXp. There are no other costs, no other hidden expenses, okay? That 800 Rand a month includes everything, the whole platform and all the stuff that I will go into in a second. You're on a 75-25 split initially at the beginning of every year. So your anniversary date is the date you join eXp. And then from there, they start counting a 12-month period. In that 12-month period, each year, you start on a 75-25 split. Now, there is also, if you look at the bottom bullet point, there is also a 4% international fee that gets paid. It's actually called a transaction fee, which gets split up to a whole bunch of people. A part of it actually goes back to social responsibility and work that eXp do in the communities of South Africa, which is great. So essentially, if you've understood, you actually are on a 71-29 split. 75-25 goes to eXp South Africa, but then there's this 4% that you always pay. Even after you've capped, you still pay the 4%. So what that means is, in that 12-month period, you start every anniversary year on a 79-21 split. 71-29 split. You're getting 71% of your commissions. When you have paid in 150,000 Rand of that South Africa portion, 25%, you've reached 150, you then cap. You don't pay eXp South Africa anything else for the rest of that 12-month period, which essentially means you're then up to a 96% split because you still pay the 4% of that international fee. So you're on a 71% until you've paid in 150, and then you go up to 96% of your comm. That is a really good deal and a lot better than a lot of you are getting right now if you are working at an agency and you're on like a 60-40 or even on a 70-30 split, because there's no cap on that. You just pay that 30% no matter how well you do in a year. So that is an incredibly good deal. And then international expansion, I have mentioned that. The good news about this is if you know agents in other countries where eXp are operating, you can introduce them to eXp, and if they join, then you get a revenue share on all of their transactions and all of the transactions of the people that they introduce. So you might end up having a business that is not only in South Africa, but you've got agents in India and France and Canada and the US, and you'll get paid in pounds or in dollars based on your revenue share of those agents. So this is an international opportunity. It really is phenomenal. Okay, 4 disruptive pillars for eXp. Now, this is what I began with saying to you. I want you to make your decision on the first 3 pillars, and then pillar number 4 is a bonus. So just a no-brainer if you agree with the first 3. So I want to just recap these for you. Pillar number 1 is, okay, I'll tell you what, let me tell you what the 4 are so that you've got them in your head, and then I will go through them individually, one by one. So pillar number 1 is this tech platform, a phenomenal tech platform, and the commission split, the whole support and platform you get as an agent with eXp. That's the first pillar. The second pillar is the training, world-class training, which no company in the world can compete with. And I'll justify that statement in a second. And I'm a real estate trainer. I know the game. Thirdly, equity awards. So the opportunity to build a shareholding in the company just for doing what you're already doing as an estate agent, becoming an owner of the company. And then the fourth pillar, which is now the bonus, is the revenue sharing, where eXp actually share their revenues back with the agents who are helping them grow the company. Okay, so revenue sharing is the 4th model. So let's go through those 4 pillars now in a little bit more detail, and then we will wrap the webinar up. So the first one is this whole platform that we work with as eXp agents. So as an eXp agent, I've explained the commission split to you. You get 71% until you've paid in 150, then you keep 96% of your commission. When you become an eXp agent, you get access to a world-class CRM lead generating system that also is a listing management system. It's called REP, the real estate platform. And in fact, in the email that you get from me, one of the little resources, I think there's 5 of them, one of them is a link to the REP website. So you can go and check out the CRM system if you want to. The system allows you to manage your database, have daily tasks and reminders that each day you've got a dashboard that tells you whose birthday it is and what phone calls you need to be making. It enables you to send bulk communications, to load your listings, automatically match buyers with listings, and create buyer alerts that can get emailed out. It generates a one-page website for you with all your listings on it. And then this system also syndicates to private property and Property 24. So as an eXp agent, in your 800 Rand a month, you get syndication to private property and P24. And you don't pay for additional clicks. The only thing you will pay extra for is if you want to feature one of your listings, or you've got like a Matterport, like 3D space, like specific photographic things that those platforms do charge extra for. That you'll have to pay for. But other than that, it's all included in your 800 Rand a month. It's phenomenal. And not only that, but you also get Lightstone. So you've got all the platforms and technology that you need locally to build your business that you're currently using wherever you are. It's all included in your 800 Rand a month. You then also get access to eXp's Workplace profile. Workplace is a Facebook app, but just for, so it's an internal app for businesses to use. And in fact, eXp have got one of the biggest workplace profiles on the planet. And that is where we share ideas. We've got a group for my own group where we help each other, but you can join any number of groups within Workplace, and it is a phenomenal platform to get referrals, to find agents that you'd like to network with, not only in South Africa but internationally. And a lot of business is traded on that Facebook Workplace account for eXp. You then also obviously get a little avatar. You get to go into eXp World anytime you want to, not just for the training, which I'll talk about now, but also for support. If you need support from the principal, there's a really complex issue, you need your principal support, you go in and you can get access to Andrew there. Tech support, international referral support, if you need marketing materials, anything you need. We've had a few agents in my group already that had some problems with getting their eXp email address working. So all you do is you get your little avatar, you go to the tech department, and you take a ticket, and then you'll walk your little avatar in there. In fact, I'll tell you, I've actually got a video here of that tech support. Let me show this to you. This will blow your mind. This will give you a little insight into the power of this technology, this cloud-based campus where we work. Let me play this to you now. Yeah, that dude there, Landon Cox, he's the guy that's busy helping me. He didn't have the answer for my question, so he's gone to speak to his tech support manager there, Melissa. And he is going to walk back over here to our table at some point and hopefully answer my question. Wow, here he comes.
Okay, did a bit of digging around.
All right.
And it looks like the instructions we have that are for UK emails are the same for South African.
Okay, great.
So what I'll do is I'll give you the instructions for the setup in Outlook. And what email app are you using exactly?
Yeah, I'm on a Mac, so I'm using the Mail app on Mac.
Gotcha. So they're not instructions for the Mail app, but the port settings that you're going to need. There we go. There we go. I just put it into the private volume.
Okay, sorry. So, I mean, I was having problems getting my email working. I went in there, I spoke to the guy, Landon Cox. He then gave me the document on how to set it up. I went and I set it up, and the email is working fine. So, you know, that might seem like a little gimmicky to you, but just think of this. They have over 600 employees that work in that avatar world. They have 40,000 agents on the planet across now, whatever it is, 12 countries, and they don't own one office. It is phenomenal. It is changing the way the world works. Okay, so back to my little slide presentation. This is the tech platform that we work with. Just one last point. I know there's a couple of you on this webinar who do own your own businesses. This is a separate discussion, but if you own your own business, there's two things I want you to take note of. First of all, eXp encourage people who have a strong local brand, that you've been building up your own brand name for a while now, and your logo is well known in the area. they encourage you to actually keep your branding. So you are allowed to keep whatever your company name is, your logo, your colors, and all of that. You will close the company down as an entity. You don't need the trust account and all of that anymore, but you can keep your branding, and then it's just powered by or in association with eXp in the bottom corner of your marketing materials. So you can keep your brand. That is a very, very powerful aspect of how they work with agents around the world. And the second thing is, if you've got a team of agents in your company and you want to move your whole team across, they have a teams structure model that I can talk you through that makes the transition easier, so that you don't just lose the commission split that you're currently getting on all of your agents at the moment as their principal. You don't want to just lose it overnight as you bring everyone over, because they all now are eXp agents and paying eXp the split. But eXp have a system whereby over a 3-year period, they phase out the commission split that you're currently getting. So talk to me about that if you need to. Okay, that's the platforms. The second thing, okay, so that's a little screenshot of the REP system. That's our listing management CRM system. The Landon Cox video, yep. Okay, the second one is training. Because all of our training at eXp is in the cloud, it's in this avatar-based world. So I think I've got a little picture. So that's a picture of one of the auditoriums in eXp world. You go into the auditorium, you take a seat, the speaker's on the stage, they share their screen. You can zoom into the screen if you want to, so that you just see the slides as the person is talking. But you can talk to the person who's giving the presentation. You can ask questions at the end. It's interactive. It is a phenomenal environment. It is phenomenal. So eXp hosts at least 40 hours of training per week. And they can do that because it's all cloud-based. And for the most part, the people doing the training are some of the top agents in the world. Now, how does that work? Well, remember, this is an agent-owned company. So everybody wants everybody else to do well, because then the share price goes up. So here's how it works. The highest achievement award that you can get as an agent at eXp is called icon status. So that's a bit like your company. I'm sure it's got its like super duper double dipper double diamond club award. You know, that's kind of what this is, icon status. Now in South Africa, if you want to be an icon agent, you've got to do a gross commission income before all the splits, gross commission of 5 million Rand in a 12-month period. If you do that, you're an icon agent. Now it's the equivalent kind of agent in every other country. So it's high producing agents, successful men and women. And part of the way the icon system works, for them to get, so when you become an icon agent, they actually give you the 150,000 Rand that you've paid in a long time ago when you capped for that 12-month period. They take that 150,000 Rand and they give it back to you in shares in the company. Get 150,000 Rands worth of eXp shares. Now, in order to get those shares, as an icon agent, you've got to do a certain number of hours training in the world. It's a very clever system because they incentivize the top agents in the world to actually give back to the population of eXp agents. So I did a lot of the research that I did for my Going Virtual program. I actually did it by attending training courses in eXp World, because they'd given me a guest pass to go into eXp World and do the training. It's phenomenal. There is a schedule of events that they publish every week. In fact, you can see it 2 or 3 weeks in advance, and you can literally just pick, okay, there's a session on social media marketing. There's a session on negotiation skills. There's whatever you want. You just pick the ones you want, stick them in your diary, and you can go into eXp World and do the training anytime you want. And then, of course, we are beginning to now host our own training in the South Africa auditorium. We've got our own auditorium in eXp World, and we will begin to do more training in there as well. Okay, the third pillar of benefit is that this is an agent-owned business. So how does that work? There is a little bit more detail than this, but I don't want to overwhelm you today. You get shares in eXp, NASDAQ shares, not South African, for doing certain things. And there's a couple of them on the screen there. When you come into eXp and you make your first sale, Okay, this is not annual. This is just your first sale ever. You get 2,000 rands worth of eXp shares. Then, if you cap, now this is recurring, okay? So you've paid in your 150 for the year, which if you do the maths, it's gross commission income of 600,000 rand. So what did you do gross commission last year before any of your splits? If it was over 600,000 rand, you would have capped as an eXp agent. And when you cap, you then get another 4,000 rands worth of eXp shares, and that you can do every year. So you can start building up a shareholding. Then, really exciting, when you attract another agent to come to eXp, and how do you do that? We'll invite them to this webinar. I do this webinar every single Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. The link that you click to get on is always the same. So just invite a few people to attend next week. And next thing you know, you've got a few agents that you've sponsored. They've joined on your first tier. When each one of those on your first tier do their first transaction in eXp, for each one, you get given 4,000 rands worth of eXp shares. So if you attract, let's say, 20 agents over the next 5 years, and they've each at least done one transaction, that's another 80,000 rands worth of eXp shares, and who knows what the share price is going to be in 5 years' time. This is phenomenal. Then there's the agent equity program. When you fill in the contract, you have a choice to do this. I would advise you do it. You tick a little block whereby they will hold back an additional 5% of your commissions, and they purchase eXp shares for you at a 10% trading discount. Now, those shares vest for 3 years. You're not allowed to sell them for 3 years, but why not? That is a great little retirement, just an addition to your retirement planning. Wonderful thing. Okay, so that's some of the equity awards. There are a couple of others, but I'm not going to go into them. If those three make sense to you, okay, if without the revenue sharing, the three white ones on the screen, if that makes sense, if that looks like an amazing company to be a part of, then does it not make sense that you would tell other agents about it? If you believe in it, that to me, that makes sense. And that's the position that I find myself in. I am excited about this company, and I'm excited to tell you about it and to invite you to come and join us. So how does the revenue share work? Well, when you enroll people personally, they are on what we call your first tier or your front line, personally enrolled by you. When you enroll someone personally, and as they begin doing transactions as an estate agent, you get paid a small percentage of their sales. And up until if they cap, you would have earned on each of those transactions adding up through the year, you would have earned 21,000 Rand from their transactions if they cap. If they don't cap, if they only, let's say, pay in 75,000 Rand, not 150 for the year, you'd get half that. You'd get 10,500 Rand. So it's not all or nothing, which is good. You just get paid on their transactions until the point that they cap. Right. Then if you enroll some people, that's your tier 1, and they then go and enroll some people, that's your tier 2, you actually make more on the people on your second tier than you do on the people on your first tier, which is good thinking because that incentivizes us to help the people we enroll to enroll others. You get up to 24,000 Rand per agent. This is not for the whole tier. This is per agent on each tier. So if there's 10 of them, you'd make 240,000 Rand for the year on those 10 agents and their transactions if they were to each cap. And as you go down through the levels, that's what the numbers look like. Okay, just the last bit of detail that you need on this. If you can, just concentrate on this one point because this is important. If you want to earn the revenue share, which is listed on the right-hand column there, if you want to earn it for each of those levels, you have to unlock the levels of your organization. Okay, you can earn down to the 7th level of your organization, but you've got to unlock the tiers. Now, how do you unlock the second tier, for example, to earn your revenue share? Well, in order to unlock your second tier, you have to have 5 agents personally enrolled. In other words, 5 agents on your first tier who are active agents. They've got to do a few transactions a year just to show that they're active. If you've got 5, you've then unlocked your second tier. When you've got 10 personally enrolled on your first tier, you then unlock your third tier. And so it goes down until to unlock your 7th tier, you need 40 agents personally enrolled to unlock your 7th tier. And to use the example that Brent Gove used in the Rand value, because the revenue share numbers he has on that video are slightly different to the corrected ones. If you were to enroll just 10 agents and they were to enroll 10 each, okay, forget about level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If that's all you did, you introduced 10 people, they each introduced 10. On the revenue share, you would earn 2.6 million Rand a year. And guys, that is passive income. That is the kind of income you retire on. And you can, in fact, leave that to your heirs. And I can explain how that works as well. So this revenue share model is phenomenal. I can just tell you this, guys. So put 10 people on your front line. In the first 2 months, because we've only been going 2 months in South Africa, I've put about 20 people on my front line already. 20 agents have said, yeah, this looks good. I want to join you. It's growing. There's excitement, and I believe it's going to start accelerating in these first sort of, I don't know, 3-6 months of this year. I just think there's going to be this viral growth of this company in South Africa. So it doesn't have to take you a long time to build up this kind of income. All right, so what are your next steps? We are almost done. I'm 1 minute late. Sorry, guys. Get together with the person who invited you. Try to do that in the next 3 or 4 days. Do the homework beforehand, okay? Part of that homework in that email you're going to get from me is a link to this Gene Frederick presentation. So Gene Frederick is a very, very successful guy. He owned 5 of the largest Keller Williams franchises in America. He owned Keller Williams Hawaii. He owned Keller Williams Cupertino, which is where Apple's head offices are. And he owned the Northern California region for Keller Williams. So in his offices, he had 1,500 agents working directly for him. And then in his region in Northern California, he had another 6,000 agents who were under his control. When he saw, before this, by the way, he's an accountant. Before this, he was the financial director of a company called Texas Instruments, a huge corporation in the States. He was their financial director. He's a bean counter. So he's like, there's no emotion. It's just look at this rationally. And in this video, he actually explains why it is that when he first saw eXp, he immediately went home to his wife, and in his words, he said to her, I've just seen the Netflix of real estate. We've got to move. They sold their 5 Keller Williams offices. They joined eXp, and the rest is history. He's got probably the biggest Keller Williams business, the biggest eXp business now in the world. And in this video, he explains why it is such a good opportunity. And this video made a lot of sense to me. So go and watch it. Go through some of the other resources that I give you in that email. Then invite someone to join you on this webinar next week. That's what Brent Gove calls the Save Me beta test. Like, hey, I've seen something. I'm really excited about it. I don't want to try to explain it to you. Don't try to explain it over the phone. It'll just sound like a pyramid scheme or something just dodgy, okay? Don't just say there's something I'm excited about it. There's a new platform in real estate. I want you to have a look at it with me and see if I'm missing something, because I'm really excited about this. Come along next week and bring them to the webinar next week. It's the same link you clicked today. And then lastly, you can start your enrollment process. Get yourself in the queue. If you're excited about this, doesn't mean you're joining yet, but you can start the process at expsouthafrica.co.za/join. And you fill in the first little form. I think you get an email that gets triggered with a link to the contract in it. So then click that link, go start reading through the contract. That'll be part of your due diligence to know what you're signing. Read through the contract, and then we can take it from there. But of course, guys, get together with the person who invited you today. Get on a Google call, get on a Zoom, and begin talking through this. So that's it from me. God bless you. I really hope you decide to join us. It's an exciting journey. For those of you who are already members of my team, we'll see you at 4 o'clock this afternoon for our family time Zoom call, and I look forward to that. And for those of you who do join us, I look forward to meeting you personally. I look forward to working together with you and going on an exciting journey together as a team. So that's it from me. God bless, and we'll see you soon.